Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Bennett, I'm sure you're probably aware that the oversight of your operation has been something that of great bipartisan interest for this committee for some time, active for years now, and I can't say that we're openly thrilled about the cooperation from your predecessors, and we hope it's better under your tenure here. Issues include, as you know, decades-long security lapses, a partisan bias, improper hiring practices, and abuse of visa programs, which are very concerning to us. Very concerning. We've got a wide-open border, known terrorists coming through, criminals, and our national security is at stake, and the abuse of visa programs and the lack of fidelity regarding security clearance is problematic to us. And so you'll have to forgive us if we remain skeptical about USAGM's competence and trustworthiness. Mr. Kappas, your eloquent talk made us think about the voice of America and USAGM of days past, but not of days that we've seen recently. And we'd like to change that. Clearly put, and simply put, you're to serve the long-range interest of the United States of America and its citizens. During your tenure, ma'am, as director, according to various VOA reporters, you and other agency officials halted a live interview with a known Chinese dissident after Beijing allegedly complained to the State Department. And then VOA fired the journalist conducting the interview. Now, that's the side of the story I got. I'm sure you have something else, and I'm interested in hearing it. But what also concerns me is the VOA used CCP talking points to describe the PRC's COVID-19 response efforts, stating, and I quote, "From Asia to Europe, South America to Africa, China is providing or has pledged humanitarian assistance in the form of donations or medical expertise," unquote. Which might be the right thing to do if you also included the fact that it's very likely, and it's been known for some time and finally admitted, that the likely location of the release of the virus is the Wuhan Institute of Virology. That might be at least a counterbalance. But we're not here to do Beijing's bidding for sure, and certainly not use the taxpayers' money to do that. I'm wondering, and this is another subject, but along the same line, do you, ma'am, consider Hamas as a terrorist organization? Is Hamas a terrorist organization?
I'm a head of a federal agency.
I know, ma'am, you are. But
I will accept the definition that's given by the United States, which is designated Hamas as a terrorist organization.
Okay, so Hamas is a terrorist organization. You agree, and therefore its members are terrorists. Yet, seen a memo, an internal VOA guidance after the October 7th attack by Hamas directed VOA staff to avoid calling Hamas and its member terrorists, except in quotes. Why would that be?
That was a personal opinion by someone that circulated around. It was not by any means the policy. The policy is to be careful about the use of the word terrorist with Hamas or any other group, but to use it as it is appropriate. And this is one situation where artificial intelligence really enabled us to shed light on an important situation in response to letters from both sides of Congress. We used artificial intelligence to look through all our languages and look at
that's great, ma'am. I appreciate that, but let's just drill down on that a little bit. So Hamas is a terrorist organization by the definition of the United States government. You agree, therefore its members are terrorists, and you're saying you're using artificial intelligence to determine when it's appropriate. So tell me when it's not appropriate.
No, sir. You said we used artificial intelligence to determine all the instances in which we did use the word terrorist in describing Hamas. We used it frequently. We sent a graph of all the instances to the members who wrote the letters to us. We have used it frequently. We've used it in quotes. We've used it out of quotes. We've used it in quotes.
When does it go in quotes and when does it go out of quotes?
There's very widely used standards as to how it's used, and people, the journalists are using their own determination as to whether or not it's appropriate to use it in quotes or not quotes. But we use it in both ways.
But the journalists work for you, and you work for the United States citizens, and Hamas is a terrorist organization designated by the United States of America, who attacked Israel, and the free world, or the world that wishes to be free, is counting on you to call the balls and strikes, not equivocate whether Hamas is a terrorist organization that slaughtered Jewish individuals without cause. And that is why many of us have pause about funding your organization, because if we can't count on you to have the correct judgment regarding such an egregious occurrence, well, the American taxpayers don't want to pay for that. I yield.